Welcome back. Well, the World Health Organization has called on its member states to fully embrace e-commerce in the fight against COVID-19, as this will obviously automatically support social distancing. But what does e-commerce mean for a new phenomenon known as revenge shopping that's taken countries like China and South Korea by storm? Let's discuss all of these issues now with a proponent of e-commerce, Michael Jordaan, who is also the co-founder of Bank Zero. Michael, thanks very much for coming on to the AM Report. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
So, Michael, do you think that perhaps Ibrahim Patel, our Minister of Trade and Industry, should have gotten onto the e-commerce bandwagon a whole lot sooner and a whole lot more than has been the case so far?
Yes, I think it's quite crazy that we have been preventing e-commerce in South Africa. As you mentioned earlier, the World Health Organization is even a proponent of e-commerce because it is the safest form of shopping. It's far safer than putting on a mask, driving to a shop, inevitably being in close distance to other shoppers. Another advantage of e-commerce, of course, is that you can open it up. It doesn't just have to be essential goods and services. And remember, the entire definition of essential goods is questionable. What if you are somebody who makes your living by using a sewing machine and a part of that sewing machine breaks? Right now, you can't go and physically buy that, but you could go and it could be delivered to your house in a safe way. You could carry on with your livelihood. So the entire situation, unfortunately, is part of what's driving our economy into such a disaster zone. I really think we need to have a bias to open up anything that helps the economy, and e-commerce is the perfect example thereof.
No, absolutely. I agree with you completely in that it is very subjective what qualifies as an essential goods and services. I'm just thinking of the makeup artists that work here at Newzroom Afrika. You know, we depend on makeup as well to do our jobs, and that was also off limits for quite some time. And as you say, if you can open up a sector of the economy, whatever it is, and if you can do so safely, we should have been doing that a long time ago.
Yes, now, the wording used by Minister Patel, I think, is quite unfortunate. He said to open up e-commerce would be unfair to physical retailers. Now, I think that's a little bit like saying we're not going to allow mobile phones because mobile phones are unfair to landlines. One has to grasp progress. You have to grasp the future. This is not a topic about fairness. And by the way, it's not about existing e-commerce firms versus old retailers. There are many, many stores out there that want to sell their goods and services. They currently could be a mom-and-pop store, but they want to use e-commerce to now go and deliver their goods and services. So I really think this wording of fairness has made the debate, you seem to be arguing on the side of being unfair. That really isn't the case. We shouldn't be wasting a good crisis. And part of what this crisis can do for us is develop online schooling, working from home, online brokerage, and e-commerce. It's the future in any event. Why are we prohibiting it now?
Look, perhaps in government's defense, we are all in uncharted waters here. We've never been faced with a situation like that. We're trying to do the right thing. We're trying to please everyone if we can. Perhaps it's a difficult time for government. Is that enough of an excuse for you?
I completely accept your point. It is difficult. I wouldn't want to be the president right now. I think what we've done with the early lockdown is absolutely commendable. We've done the right thing. We've bought time. But given that we've done that now, I think there should also be a bias to encouraging things that are not risky. And e-commerce is not a risky form of economic activity. So we've made the big correct decisions up until now, but I would plead for more flexibility now in opening up the economy. And the argument here is that if we don't get the economy going, we're a country that already has a lot of poverty and a lot of unemployment. We can't afford to do what some of those rich Western nations have done and shut down everything. We really should have a bias towards opening up low-risk sectors of the economy. E-commerce is one. There are others. I believe that if a business can show that they are at very low risk, let their workers work from home or in an office environment, work very far from each other, they travel there safely, and they can do that to the satisfaction of the correct authorities, I see no reason why they shouldn't be allowed to carry on with their trade and to save and create jobs in the process.
So, Michael, as we wrap up our interview, we know that we're an incredibly unequal country as South Africa. You know, on the one side of the coin, we've got people who are not receiving an income, who are really battling to make ends meet during this time. And on the very far side of that coin, we've got people who are still receiving a salary. They're able to save perhaps on petrol and on traveling costs. They're able to still work from home. Tell us about this phenomenon that we've seen in China, especially, of revenge buying.
Yes, people get their kicks in different ways. So while they have been able to shop for essentials, some people shop because they love the act of shopping. I have to tell you something I struggle with, but it's a very clear phenomenon that people that have been locked in their own homes for 6 or 7 or 8 weeks, they want to get out there and they want to do all the things they haven't been able to do until now. In some cases it's exercise, in other cases it's drinking or socializing, but there certainly seems to be a big phenomenon where people go to stores and they flash that credit card and they buy things that weren't available to them for 6 or 7 or 8 weeks. Of course, a lot of that is good for the economy because retailers have suffered, and it's important that we get the cash flow going in the economy again.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. I'm just looking at some of the numbers coming out of China, $2.7 million in sales on the day that one store opened in China, one of those luxury brands. Michael Jordaan, thanks very much for coming on to the AM Report. It's been great to talk to you on all things related to e-commerce and, of course, issues around the economy as the lockdown continues.